up, guys? Nick here, back from Sessions Motorsports. Today we have this 1990 YJ that's been converted into a YLJ. So we did the YJ to LJ conversion and stretched this Jeep. This is a pretty awesome Jeep, so let's just dive right in and get after it. The front of this thing, you can see that we built this custom front bumper. It's got a bit of a frame chop, built-in steering box skid plate, winch fair lead, a little bit of a stinger setup on here, and then the grill hoop. For a winch, we got a classic Warn 9.5 TA. These are high-speed winches. It's an older winch, but they work really well. They're one of my favorite winches. We also have KCs on here on the front. Then you can see the aftermarket headlights. And let's go ahead, and this has got some really nice axles. Let's go ahead and we'll check out the front axle on this thing. So what we did is it's got fabricated housings with a Gearworks 10-inch high pinion third member, all chromoly axle shafts, but it has the kingpin outer with a modern big brake setup on it, and the full Yukon locking hardcore hubs on it. For suspension, it's got 2.5 14-inch King coilovers. They obviously have the DSC adjusters on it. You can see the King air bumps on it. It's got metal cloak fenders, which give it that tire clearance that it needs on here. We built some custom inner fenders that you can kind of see in there. And then go ahead and look down here. It's got a full PSC hydro assist steering system on it, all RPM steering, and then 70/75 T6 aluminum track bar, drag link, tie rod, all the suspension links with Curry Johnny joints. So let's go around and we'll check out the side of this thing. So the side of this Jeep, what's really cool is you can see it has the classic LJ stretch right here. So the Jeep was cut in half. We kind of used a little bit of everybody's stuff. So we used Genrite corner guards, and we use Genrite inner fenders. And here in a minute, we'll take a look at the inside of this thing and you can kind of see how we did it. But we built our own frame and we built our own floor to make all this work. And then of course we built our own Sessions Motorsports cage. But you can see on here, we added this 1/4-inch aluminum trim panel on the rocker here. And then we built our super beefy, these are all 250 wall lower, 188 wall upper, full rocker package that acts as a step, but it also is just a super beefy high clearance rocker. While we're here, let's look down at the chassis and you can kind of see our subframe that we do. This has a full AR400 UHMW skid plate package on it. And again, we do the AR for strength and we do the UHMW. We like the way it slides, but we also really like the fact that when you smoke that thing on a rock, it's literally like kind of hitting a hammer on a piece of wood versus hitting a hammer on a piece of metal. So it really takes the impact out of your back. That's the biggest reason I really like to use it. Plus it's sacrificial. You can change it and all that good stuff. And so you can see it's got a full oil pan skid, all the good stuff there. Go ahead and take a peek at the suspension while you're back there. It's got a double triangulated rear 4-link suspension. It has that same fabricated housing in the back, but with a low pinion in the back here. This has ARBs front and rear in it. It also has chromoly axles, the same big brake package on the back, and full floating shafts on the rear. So it's got really nice axles, lightweight, high clearance, a lot of strength. In the back, it has 2.5 16-inch coilovers, King coilovers, with King air bumps. And these are a 2-inch stroke air bump. You can also see the way that we did our frame here. So we did a whole new back half on it, but the frame's kicked out in the back, and we did that because we wanted to use a 26-gallon tank. So that's a Genrite 26-gallon fuel cell that we raised up into the chassis. And when we look at the floor, you'll see how we built that. But we also kicked the frame out in the back to do that. Another cool thing on this thing is, let's go ahead and take a look at the back. You can see we incorporated the factory fuel filler. We also took the metal cloak fenders and extended them in the back so it matches the front. This is a cool look. You don't see this very often on these Jeeps. I really like these fenders on this thing. It turned out really cool. In the back, it has a Moto-Built tailgate conversion. So it's got the fold down tailgate conversion on it. Has the Genrite lights, some KC reverse lights in the back. And then you can see our standard bumper style that we do. But if you notice, it's raised up into the body here. So when we build the chassis, we channel everything up, and that gives you way more ground clearance. It's like 4 inches of ground clearance. But you can see the gas tank down here hanging out on this thing, well protected. It's in front of the tires, so this has a really nice departure angle. But let's check out how much room is behind the seat. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and look inside this thing, and you can kind of understand what the advantages of that YJ to LJ conversion. YJs are like CJs, right? It's a short, small Jeep, so if you have kids, family, use the back seat. It's pretty tight back there, and then when you do, you have hardly any storage behind it. So you can see back here, look at all the room behind this seat. You can see on this custom floor that we built, we raised the floor up right here, literally to allow us to bring that big gas tank up in. And instead of using like a 15-gallon, 16-gallon gas tank, we wanted to go with a big gas tank in this thing. And so, but we didn't want it to hang down like that, right? So we raised the gas tank up, built the chassis around it, and we raised the floor up so the gas tank is up out of the way. We also have a nice fuel pump access cover, super simple, super easy. Need to change the fuel pump, it's right here. It's got some tie downs built into it. Again, the Motobuilt fold down tailgate. And then again, these are the Genrite inner fenders, which in turn we started with those and their corners and then built the rest of this stretch with all of our stuff. And so go ahead and check out how much room is in front of the back seat. That's what's really cool. So in a YJ, you can see that there's no room. So in this thing, there's plenty of room for a couple of kids to sit back here, even a couple of adults to sit back here. Some other cool details is if you look in the front of the inner fender, you'll see that a speaker's in there. And so there's actually a full speaker enclosure that's removable, but it's fully watertight and it's sunk back into that thing. Also, while we're here, go ahead and check out some of the cage tie-ins, some of the details. Okay, so in the front of this thing, one thing that's really cool is that we went ahead and we did a full custom interior of this. So let me hop around to the other side and we'll show you guys this interior. So the interior in this Jeep is pretty awesome. We tried to keep it YJ-esque and we tried to keep it very simple, very Spartan. Another thing that's cool about this Jeep is it has a manual transmission, and we'll go over the drivetrain here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and take a look at this interior. So we built a full custom dash assembly for this, all out of aluminum and all fabricated, and it's modular. So this center section houses just the regular gauges. So it's got these Autometer full gauge kit in it, water, oil, fuel, volts. And then over there, it's got a GPS speedometer and of course a tach. And down below here, it has all the factory warning lights. So turn signals, high beam, check engine light, seat belt, all that kind of stuff is right here. In here, we have a Bluetooth stereo setup in it, factory heater controls, USB and USB. So it's got a couple of different phone chargers and USB setups in it. You can see the Atlas transfer case shifter right here. The trans in this is a TR4050. So it's from Silver Sport Transmissions. It's a pretty sweet little cross ratio 5-speed manual. Works awesome with this setup. And so this is the shifter for that bad boy. Here you can see we've got the ARB controls. We also have rock lights, those rear KCs and the front KCs all on a switch panel here. We also built a custom glove box inside this thing. And then right here we have the grab handle built onto the roll cage. So if you take a look at this, we had everything upholstered. So we had all of this upholstered in a black vinyl. We also went ahead and upholstered the headliner in the Jeep. So it has a full custom aluminum roof that we upholstered that. And then it has these awesome PRP Enduro seats that are suede vinyl with the orange stitching. And of course the PRP wheel that you see there, that's the suede with the orange stitching, and the Tuffy center console that you can see here. So overall, very simple interior, but very clean interior, and it just gets the job done. Has everything it needs. All right, guys, so for the engine in this Jeep is a California legal emissions compliant Jeep, and this has a Golan stroker. It's a brand new Golan 4.6. It's got the Banks header. It has the aftermarket throttle body, the bigger injectors, carb legal AEM air intake setup on it. We also did a newer upgraded master cylinder to work with these brakes. This thing has awesome brakes. They work flawlessly. It's got a full PSC, again, hydro assist like we talked about earlier. So you got your reservoir here and your anti-splash valve. You can also just kind of see some of the detail under here, but just a classic YJ engine bay with the original style engine. Now let's go ahead and we'll take a look underneath this thing. All right, guys, so again, it has that Golan 4.6 stroker. It has a Tremec TR4050 transmission, and it has an Atlas transfer case that you can see there. It's kind of packaged way up in there, nice and tight, but you can also, again, just notice the detail. Notice everything and how tight the clearance is. There's absolutely nothing to get hung up on. The link mounts are all up on the way. Again, it's got 7075 T6 aluminum links with Curry Johnny joints, all 1350 driveline. So if you go ahead and check that out, and then let's take a look at the wheels and tires on this. So for wheels and tires, it has a Micky Thompson Baja Boss 40-inch, and then it has Battleborn beadlocks. So pretty awesome package. Drives nice on the road, wheels good, balances out pretty good for a beadlock. Overall, just a real sweet setup. All right, guys, overall, just an awesome Jeep. I love YJs. They're probably my favorite of all the Jeeps. I've just got a connection with them. I've got a really... I've had a whole bunch of them. I've got one myself, and they're just my favorite. I love the square headlights. I love YJs. I love that they're a little bit unique and a little bit different. And This takes it to a whole new level because it makes it super practical. By doing this conversion, by getting this kind of room in the back, by getting the storage behind it, this drivetrain, it's super reliable, like 4 liters are known to me, but it has that Golden 4.6 stroker, so it's 300 horsepower, 300 foot-pounds. It has an awesome 5-speed manual. It's got a 3.8 Atlas, so it's got a really good crawl ratio with low range. It's got tough, high clearance, lightweight axles. It has awesome brakes. It has good suspension. You can drive this thing daily. You can crawl it. You can, go cruise in the sand. It does it all. Also with this just super nice cage setup, it's got all the Scotch mirrors like you saw in there, but it's got a full, hard top aluminum roof on here. It's just, it has the details of the upholstery. It has the details of the customization. It has the uniqueness that you're not going to see another YJ to LJ that's just like this Jeep. The metal cloak fenders, the Gen Right corners, it's got a little bit of the right companies here and there. Just an overall awesome Jeep and an awesome combination. We hope you guys like this one. Again, guys, we got more coming, so if you like this stuff, just please subscribe and like the footage, and we'll keep putting it out. Thank you, guys.